Everyone, we are now, the Redevelopment Agency meeting of November 7th is called to 2018 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed, posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV, Cable Channel 2, or closed caption for hearing impaired viewers. Please note, customers of CenturyLink and Cox Communications may view this program in high definition channel 1002. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, on Go Vegas app. The council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also Friday 4 a.m., Saturday 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If the alarm should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exits at the back of the chambers going out to the mezzanine. Proceed out the double doors to the terrace, go down the back staircase, and for anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with one of our marshals or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to the items on the agenda, citizen participation, and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to our city clerk up front. Cards are available online in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment. Citizens participation specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today that is need for hearing impaired equipment, please see the city clerk staff. If you parked in the parking garage across the street, please be sure to have your ticket validated by security officers when exiting. We will move on to agenda item 3. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda of the Redevelopment Agency for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card or who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record, and we will set the time at 1 minute. We will move on. I will close public comment. We'll move on to agenda item 4 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the regular Redevelopment Agency meeting of August 1st and September 5th, 2015. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Mayor, move to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve those minutes. Please vote and please post. Good morning, Councilman Coffin. And please post. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Agenda item 5, R8 22-2018, discussion for possible action regarding a resolution finding the project proposed by the Office Tenant Incentive Program OTIP agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency, RDA, and Green Unicorns, LLC, owner located at 229 Las Vegas Boulevard, South, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, authorizing the execution of the OTIP agreement by the RDA not to exceed $50,000 RDA Special Revenue Fund, Redevelopment Area 1, Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. This item is related to Council Item 43, R58-2018. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor. With your indulgence, would you also call item 6 as well?
Absolutely. We will now go into agenda item 6, RA23-2018. Discussion for possible action regarding the resolution finding the project proposed by the Commercial Visual Improvement Program, CVIP, agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency, RDA, and Green Unicorns, LLC, owner located at 229 Las Vegas Boulevard South, to be in compliance with and furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, authorizing the execution of the CVIP agreement by the RDA not to exceed $25,000 RDA Special Revenue Fund. Redevelopment Area 1, Ward 3. Note this item is related to Council Item number 44, R59-2018.
Good morning, Mayor, members of City Council, and Redevelopment Agency Board of Directors. For the record, I'm Bill Arntz, Director of Economic and Urban Development. With me today is Brad Howard from Trend Nation. We're going to explain a little bit more about why Mr. Howard is here today. This is our first incentive awarded under a new program called Office Tenant Incentive Program. And we have a lot of great office buildings in downtown. Some of those are vacant. And it's our job as a redevelopment agency to try to fill those buildings with great businesses, and we believe that we found a great one today in Trend Nation. So a little bit more about the project. The company name that is purchasing the building is Green Unicorns, LLC. And they've purchased the property at 229 Las Vegas Boulevard South. This neighborhood is a pretty famous neighborhood. It's on Las Vegas Boulevard. The property itself is between Bridger and Carson Avenue on the east side of the boulevard. The property is an older property. One of the buildings was built in the 1950s, the other building in the 1970s. It's a very dated building. One is structurally in good shape, the other one not so much. And so this property needs a little bit more than just TLC. It really needs some money and some improvement. And so the property owner is looking to put in significant updates to the building to fix the dated interior, the dilapidated condition, dealing with asbestos. And so the property interior afterwards would include the asbestos removal, make it ADA compliant, new HVAC, new plumbing as well. In total cost of the project, over $600,000. I believe that's gone up since we prepared this presentation. Mr. Howard can talk about that. And see, here you see the exterior. The building with the brick facade is one of the two buildings that's being renovated, and then you see the building in the exterior of the property to the back or on the east side of the lot that is in need of significant repair. And we're very appreciative of Mr. Howard and his company taking this project on. And so you see there the property after the exterior, and almost $200,000 on this building. The total investment is over $860,000. And so we believe that with our minimal investment of $50,000 as a office tenant improvement grant, as well as item 6, which you called, Madam Mayor, for the visual improvement grant, which is kind of our bread and butter program, if you will. It's the exterior facade program to help the facades of all our buildings downtown, which has been a very popular and very successful program to convince not only individual property owners to fix up their storefronts or their building facades, but it really has a ripple effect where all the property owners on a block now, they see that investment, they get excited, and they try to do what they can to fix up their storefronts as well. And so you see here the building's going to have new signage. It is on our Las Vegas Boulevard, and there's neon signage requirements, and so we're going to have the property have a new neon sign to keep the tradition alive of neon in Las Vegas, on Las Vegas Boulevard, and in downtown. Trend Nation is a company that has been very successful in Las Vegas. This is actually going to be their administrative headquarters, and so with that, they're bringing high-paying jobs to downtown. And Mr. Howard will talk a little bit about that. Over 40 jobs to the building. So with that, I'd like to again introduce Brad Howard, who will say a few remarks about who his company is, their investment. They've begun already on the construction and anticipate being done fairly quickly. So Mr. Howard will talk a little bit more about the timeline as well.
Good morning and welcome. But one quick question: parking is where?
There is some parking on site, so I believe all the parking needs, and Mr. Howard can talk about how he's going to park the building as well. But we have a robust parking program, so to the extent that he needs any help with that, we'll be certain to help.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt. And good morning and welcome to City Hall. And if you'll repeat your name for our record, please.
Yeah, good morning, Council, good morning, Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Arden. It's Brad Howard. I live at 9474 Malasana Court here in Las Vegas. I've been a resident now for a little bit over 9 years. And as Bill mentioned, I am the owner of Green Unicorns as well as Trend Nation. And super excited today, again, thanking the Council, thank you, Mayor, and specific thank you to Councilman Coffin's office, who's been very supportive and helpful throughout this entire process. And we've met personally and talked about this project. So a little bit about Trend Nation. Trend Nation's been around now for 11 years. We moved the company to Las Vegas 9 years ago, and we've been on the Inc. 500 list, or Inc. 5000 list, 5 of the last 7 years as one of the fastest growing small businesses in the U.S., and we were the fastest growing company in Nevada a few years ago, as rated by Inc. magazine. So we want to move our corporate headquarters from the North Vegas area down to the downtown area to 229 South Las Vegas Boulevard. We want to bring around 40 front office knowledge workers. We're going to leave our warehouse in the North Vegas area as our company continues to grow, and this year will be another growth year of approximately 15 to 20%, and the business is doing very well. Trend Nation is a manufacturer and retailer of products, consumer products, and we're one of Amazon's largest third-party sellers of private label products, primarily in the loungewear and lighting categories, and we're super excited about
Loungewear?
Loungewear, so robes, slippers, costumes, onesies, etc.
Okay. Interesting. Wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, we're super excited about bringing our knowledge workers again. The average front office worker, a knowledge worker in our staff is about $75,000, and we have quite a few that are in the six-figure range. And we're super excited about continuing to fuel what's happening in the downtown area. We love the energy, the vibe. We love the redevelopment of what's happening in the tech scene, and what Tony has started and many others downtown, and feel that this will continue the development downtown. And without the OTIP and the VIP program, it would be very challenging for us to put in what will be over $1 million in renovation dollars to a building that was covered in asbestos and in dilapidated conditions, to say the least. Mayor, your question about parking is probably the single biggest problem with the building. The building has about 8 or 9 parking spaces behind the building, but as I mentioned, we'll be bringing around 40 people there. The parking authority and Brandy and her team have been very helpful in identifying some local other owners of other parking lots in the area. We're in late-stage negotiations with CenturyLink to rent a part of their lot, and then also the Indianapolis garage has been offered to us, and we've been talking with them as well. And then even today, Councilman Coffin's office proposed another idea for another location. So we're all ears for additional parking, as that will be a challenge for us, but we've made some significant progress in that area.
And Mr. Howard, it sounds very exciting. What's your timeline, assuming all goes well?
Yes, good question. So construction has already started. We were supposed to take a delivery or have a temporary certificate of occupancy by the end of this year. December 28th was the target date. We just ran into some structural challenges, which we have just submitted to the city, or actually will be submitting to the city today for some plans for some structural engineering. So we are now pushing that back about 5 to 7 weeks. So we anticipate the building coming online in the first quarter of 2019, and we'll be circling back. So again, the demolition's already been done, the asbestos has been removed, the building is now down to its studs, and we are now going to the structural engineering phase, which again, we were fortunate enough to inherit a 1950s building and a 1970s building that actually needs some additional structural supports that we're now investing more money into the project.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments before I turn it over to Councilman Coffin? We're silent.
I'm waiting for you
It's
to
yours.
say.
Go,
It's
please.
me. Thank you very much, Brad. Welcome again. It's good to see you in our chambers finally. And
Yeah.
Not just an office meeting, but thank you very much for your investments downtown. And of course, as I like to say, downtown Las Vegas belongs to all the council. It may be within Ward 3, but in fact, we all have a stake in what goes on because it is the image of our city. And that's a good old building, it's true, and I'm so glad you're keeping that building instead of just simply wiping it out. I hope the structural stuff is not caused by some quirk in our new code as opposed to what you think you need for loading, because you may have heavier equipment up on the second floor. Is that what's going on?
No, we are adding some, we are moving a few air conditioning units to the roof of the building, so it is adding some additional weight to the roof of the building, and we are adding a few hundred square feet on one of the floors. So there is some weight being added to the roof, not a ton of weight, but again, because of the age of the building and some of the current code standards, it is a little bit more challenging, but we also understand that it's important the building is structurally sound, God forbid in the case of a seismic activity.
In case of a something. Yes, Mayor? Go ahead.
Yes, if I might, I'm thinking about this and realize you're already in process, which means you've gone through the planning and everything else that you've done. My question to you, Mr. Arndt, really, or maybe it's to Councilman Coffin, if in fact these funds were not passed, what would happen to your project?
So we met with the city well before we purchased the building, months before we went into contract with the property, and reviewed all the programs with all the folks in council, and felt very confident that the program would be in support, that we met all the criteria. So we felt at a very high level that the city would follow through on their programs and their initiatives. And we met, again, with the councilman ahead of time, and we met with the city and their team, the OTIP and the VIP team, at least 4 different times, making sure that every box was checked before we went into contract with the building. So we felt at a very high level of confidence that we were going to get the approval, but we did, and we were told actually that we needed to go through that process, that we couldn't actually apply and get the money until we actually had ownership of the building. So this was the only way that we were told we could actually get the funds. So this is news to me that we could actually apply before we had ownership of the building.
Always, every day is a new day, and you learn something every day. Mr. Arndt, is that what are the processes for those who seek these types of incentives? How far along in purchasing, developing does a developer have to be?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, for the record, Bill Arndt. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg, but the timing issue is important because the applicant either has to have some form of site control. So as Brad mentioned, he wanted to buy the building, so certainly ownership in his instance was a requirement at the time of application or at the time of putting it before you and the board. Other businesses want to enter into a lease, so sometimes they'll sign a lease with a contingent start date after when the OTIP or the VIP funds might be approved. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg, but we need some form of site control because we don't want to go through the whole process, put a business before you with the understanding that the business for certain is moving forward and then have a lease fallout or a purchase fallout. So we can work on timing, but there has to be some form of site control. Either outright ownership, outright leasehold, or a leaseholder purchase that is imminent. And so that timing issue is important, and we try to move quickly at the pace of business. So it takes us typically a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks to get an application before you with the meeting law requirements as well as preparing the contract. So that's a timing issue, and I think Mr. Howard, saw a great opportunity in our downtown and jumped on it, and we certainly honor our commitment, but the final approval is required by you and the council acting as the Redevelopment Agency Board of Directors.
So realizing you generally then, you specifically in your department, generally go to the council person. It could be council, it could be in Ward 5, that's redevelopment, Ward 1. So you would then secure at least an indication of supportiveness before somebody goes and spends all this money, correct?
Right. There's no guarantee of approval. You have the final approval. So we try to navigate those timing issues as best we can, but then the private sector moves at the speed of the private sector, and I think Mr. Howard saw a great opportunity with this property and seized the opportunity, and so we're trying to follow through on it.
It's a wonderful project. I was just thinking you might have the cart before the horse, and I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I mean,
It did feel like the cart was before the horse in this particular situation, but the redevelopment committee did make us feel very comfortable and confident in the program.
No,
the staff has been super helpful. So I do agree. I hear what you're saying, but I do feel the redevelopment committee was very, very helpful in laying out the program very well and spending extra time with us.
And that you really had the many meetings with Councilman Coffin, which really was indicative of everything. Okay, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, Mayor. I think, Brad, your best friends right now are, well, it's the neighbors in downtown, and I'm speaking of the other people who are paying the taxes. You will be paying, as part of your property taxes, a slice that will come in through the redevelopment agency, and that's how these 3 different programs, OTIP is just one, how they are funded. So I know a lot of people are wondering, well, gee, is that taxpayer money? Am I in Summerlin going to have to pay for this? And no, it's not. It's all those folks in the redevelopment area who chip in. It doesn't increase their taxes, but it's a slice of the existing taxes. And that is what we use with due diligence to make sure that everybody is cooperating, and they appreciate that. So, be sure to walk down and around the street and around the town and thank them for, they don't even know they did it probably. But it's important to remind people this is not general fund taxpayer money coming out of somebody else's pocket. It's money that's being paid by the businesses and the few residents that live there in order that they could be, I should say, be accompanied by great new businesses like yours. And yours is not a brand new business. There's no risk in this. We obviously checked you out. And I think most importantly, thank you for coming to downtown Las Vegas. It speaks so well. Wish we had your warehouse, but you're already established over there. So, but when you expand, maybe you can come in. Thank you again for being here, and thanks for the compliments to our office, our staff. We really look forward to watching Trend Nation grow and grow and grow. And that old building has been there so long, I can remember who was in there. So now thank you, Mayor, if we don't have any further
No, I think
questions.
We're good for a motion on number 5.
I will now move for approval of item number 5.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve agenda item 5. Please vote and please post. That motion carries. And on agenda item 6, please.
I now move for approval, Your Mayor.
And there's a motion to approve agenda item 6. Please vote and please post. Excellent.
Just
Thank
one
you.
add for
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Coffin, and thank you, the rest of the council.
You're
Look
very
forward to having you out for the ribbon cutting.
If anybody
look
wants
forward
to
to
know
being
where to go
there.
get plush, warm pajamas, robes, and so on for this coming
Christmas
winter,
special? Holiday special?
check 'em out.
Hanukkah special is right around the corner. Same with Christmas
Yep.
special. We have them both covered.
A Thanksgiving
Check 'em out.
special?
We have turkey costumes, I believe.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Arndt.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
So cute. Okay, agenda item 7, citizen participation, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the redevelopment agency. No subject may be acted upon by the redevelopment agency unless the subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name. For the record, the amount of discussion any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited, and this is all in reference only to the redevelopment agency. Anyone wishing redevelopment agency or something else?
Yes, good morning, Mayor
Good
Goodman
morning. You
and
look
City Council.
lovely.
I'm Catherine Duncan, thank you. And I just wanted to address in general the redevelopment agency because somewhere on the other side of the spaghetti bowl, there's another community that's still in the downtown and still lies within the redevelopment agency. So we've had a lot of
Now,
challenges
excuse me
that
if I may, Ms. Duncan.
Yes.
You heard me ask Mr. Arndt, wards 5 and wards 1, as well as Ward 3, that it is in the redevelopment agency. Therefore, these incentives are available.
Yes, and we've had a lot of opportunities to try to take advantage of the incentives. However, there always seems to be a little loophole in the incentives where we don't qualify. And so I was amazed when I heard this morning that there was a new program created especially for this type of development that you just approved. So I wonder what it would take to have a special program created just for the historic West Side so that the loopholes that we fall out of, we can be included in some of the incentives for the redevelopment agency.
Thank you. Thank you. Point well taken, and I'm sure Councilman Creer would be very supportive of that. So thank you very much, Ms. Duncan. I'm sure you'll be back at the next open
Thank you. Thank you.
comments. Anyone else wishing to address the redevelopment agency? Okay, hearing none, the redevelopment agency is adjourned. We'll start our meeting in promptly 3 minutes.